Hi guys, Karen Miller here. Today I wanted to do a gluten-free bread. I did not do a gluten-free bread so far. The bread that I did is not gluten-free because it has spelt in it, and even though spelt does not have as much gluten, it does have some gluten in it. So today I wanted to do a gluten-free bread, but before I do that, I wanted to speak specifically to mothers out there who I know look at my videos, maybe subscribe to my channel. I wanted to talk to you about your children on the autism spectrum. As you know, my son is on the autism spectrum. He was diagnosed 13 years ago. He's now a teenager. And there was a time when I totally eliminated all wheat products, etc., from his diet and was only doing gluten-free. Back then, I did not know about kamut and teff and all of these things. I learned about it maybe 2 or 3 years after he was diagnosed. But anyway, I don't want to make this talking part too long because really this is about making the gluten-free flour. But what I wanted to say is absolutely important, because if you are following Dr. Sebi's guide and his list, kamut and spelt especially is not gluten-free. It's absolutely not gluten-free. So if you're following Dr. Sebi's guide and his list and you have a child on the autism spectrum, you should absolutely not use spelt or kamut. But all the other flours, the amaranth, the quinoa, teff, fonio, these are all gluten-free. Rye is on the list, but rye is absolutely not gluten-free. So you shouldn't be giving your children these flours. I just wanted to make that clear. I felt like if I did not explain this, that I would be doing you a disservice, because I don't want you to think that because it's on Dr. Sebi's list that you should just automatically use it. You should not. If you have a child on the autism spectrum, and especially if they're having issues with their gut and if they have a leaky gut, but what you should do is you should absolutely do a test. Go to your doctor and ask them to do a test to find out if your child has a sensitivity to gluten. If they have a sensitivity to gluten, you absolutely should not use these flours, kamut and spelt and rye. The other flours, yes, you absolutely could use it. So today what I wanted to do is a gluten-free bread using garbanzo bean flour, amaranth flour, and quinoa. Maybe I was thinking of using something else, but when I start doing the video, I'm going to explain it to you. All right, so please try this bread. I know it's gonna be delicious. So guys, before we start doing this bread, I wanted to show you what I'm going to use, because I've had some requests about the gluten-free, and I know that there are people out there with GI problems. Now you also need to know that this is not a life sentence. If you have some gastrointestinal issues or celiac disease or whatever they call it, you have to clean up your eating habits, and you have to clean up your gut, and you have to stop taking a lot of unnecessary antibiotics because they kill off the good bacteria, which you need balance. And you also have to stop with the vaccinations for your children and for yourself. This is what creates that leaky gut and this situation where you cannot digest gluten, is because the bad guys, the bad bacteria, they're eating away at the lining of your stomach, and it's just a big problem. I'm going to give you a link on my website where I wrote about this, but that's another story. Here I have amaranth flour. I have quinoa flour. This is by Bob's Red Mill. You know, this guy, he's doing good work with gluten-free. And I also have sorghum. Sorghum flour is a gluten-free flour as well. This is not recommended by Dr. Sebi, but all of these flours are related. They're from the grass family. The sorghum, the millet, not the amaranth. It's not from the grass family, but the sorghum, millet, teff is also from the grass family. And so I don't know why this is not on Dr. Sebi's list, but this is a good neutral flour to use, because the garbanzo bean, if you have watched my other videos before, I always talk about garbanzo bean really taking over everything with the flavor. And my family, especially one of my daughters, she hates garbanzo bean. She hates the garbanzo bean flour in the bread. She doesn't like it at all. It really has a strong flavor and it takes over everything. This is a milder flour and it is gluten-free. So you can use this, but I just wanted to let you know it is not on Dr. Sebi's list. And please, the people who are really die hard with the list, which I am also, but I give a little bit. But the die hard people, please do not give me a hard time about talking about this. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people who suffer with GI tract issues and they need to have gluten-free breads, gluten-free items. All right, this is a very neutral. You're not going to get that strong flavor like the quinoa flour. I eat quinoa, I would say, every day. I love quinoa. The flour has a flavor, it has a bitterness to it as well. This is from, on the grain you have these saffronins, they call it, and it's very bitter. So I'm just giving you options. All right, you can use this, you can use this, a mixture of this, the garbanzo bean flour, which I'm going to show you. I have a cup of garbanzo bean flour. I was going to do half a cup, but my daughter said go ahead, I'm not going to eat it. So I'm going to do a cup because I think it's the garbanzo bean that's really going to keep this together, because I'm not going to use xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is really what keeps the flours together, but I'm going to try this without the xanthan gum and see how it comes out. For now, I'm just going to use the flours with some Brazil nut milk. I'm also going to use the rejuvelac. You don't have to use the rejuvelac, it is optional. I just feel that it gives the flour an extra depth, extra flavor. It's like the yeast bread. It has a better flavor because it's fermented, and this is a fermented drink. So I think it gives it some extra flavor. And I'm going to use some baking soda, some Himalayan salt. So let's do this. I have 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour, and I'm going to use, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking if I should use the quinoa flour, because my daughter told me that the bread is going to be sitting there for months. She said this bread is going to be sitting here for months. Nobody's going to be eating it if you put the quinoa flour in it. So okay, let's go. I have 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour. I'm going to put 1 cup of amaranth. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? 1 cup of amaranth, and you don't have to sift these flours. All right, and I think what I am going to do, because I've had this sorghum for the longest while, I think I'm going to do half and half. I have 2 cups here already. I'm going to do half of, I'm using a cup for this. I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to do half of the sorghum and half of the quinoa. I'm already smelling the quinoa. It's so strong. But this is good. This quinoa flour is so good. It has many minerals, vitamins. So this is it. 3 cups. And I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon, not a lot of baking soda, because remember we are using the Perrier. So we don't need a lot of baking soda. So I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to put the recipe for this in the description because people have been asking me about the recipe, so I'm going to do it. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, And I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of salt, Himalayan salt. Okay, and then I'm going to mix this up. So we have our flours here. We have our garbanzo bean flour, we have our quinoa, amaranth, and sorghum. If you don't want to use sorghum for whatever reason, because it's not on Dr. Sebi's recommended list, you can just add whatever flour you want. This is just what I am doing. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to add the wet ingredients now. So I have a cup of milk here, and I'm using 1 cup of milk. You can use less. I'm just thinking that I should use a cup of milk just to help with the flavor and to help with the quinoa. I'm hoping that my daughter would still eat the bread. So I'm putting a cup of milk because I'm thinking it would help a little bit with the flavor and not, you know, to take away that bitterness a little bit from the quinoa. And then I'm going to put, now this is optional, I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of the rejuvelac. And I'm going to put a cup of the Perrier. And we mix this in. So this batter is a bit soft, as you know. Well, if you looked at my recipe, that bread recipe that I did with the spelt and the garbanzo bean flour, it is slightly damp. Alright, so while you were away, I added an extra, I added the rest of my sorghum. I just wanted to get rid of it, and this batter was a little bit too wet. So I think this is better, because when you're dealing with these flours, you never know what's gonna happen, and the temperature and everything affects that. So I'm going to do the recipe in the description as far as amounts, but this is, I added an extra 1/2 cup. So this is actually 3.5 cups of flour with 2 1/4 cups of liquid, a cup of milk, a cup of the Perrier, and a 1/4 cup of the rejuvelac. So now I'm going to put this in my pan and put this in a 375-degree oven for 45 minutes, and then we'll see how it comes out. So guys, I have a greased loaf pan here. I greased it thoroughly. Make sure you grease this properly, else you're gonna have problems removing the bread. I greased it with some grapeseed oil, and now I'm going to pour the batter in. I'm going to pour the batter in here, and I'm going to put this in the oven, 375 degrees for 45 minutes. All right, so then when this is done, I'll show you what this bread looks like. Hello, this is your bread, your gluten-free bread. It was in the oven at 375 for 40 minutes, and it does feel heavy. I had a little problem prying it out of the pan. I was getting a little nervous for a minute, but I pried and then I shook it out, and it came out intact. See, this is intact. This is the bottom of it. And you have to make sure that you grease your pan, even if it's a non-stick pan, because the pan that I use is a non-stick pan. So I am now going to cut this to show you what it looks like. I like the ends. Don't you like ends? That's all I like, the ends of the bread. So this is what it looks like. It's a bit moist. It's dense. This is the first time I've used that combination of flours. So again, you can use whatever combination you like. You can use maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda instead of a 1/4 teaspoon to just make it a little bit lighter. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to taste this, see what it tastes like. So I'm going to taste this. I have some of my vegan butter here. And what time is it? It's just before 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna taste it for you. It's about an hour before my dinner time, but I'm going to do it because I'm also curious, really, really curious how this tastes. So let me take a bite of this. It's really good. I'm tasting the quinoa and the garbanzo, which really is the two flours that are really prominent and takes over everything. Quinoa and garbanzo, they're like some people, they just take over everything. But I think this is a really good bread. And I'm tasting a little bit of amaranth in the back end now as I'm swallowing it. So I'm gonna put this recipe in the instructions and try it and tell me what you feel about it. You know, but this is totally gluten-free. And if you're having problems with your GI tract, you have celiac disease, this would be a good bread for you. It's totally gluten-free and it doesn't have the corn, because most of the gluten-free breads out there, they have tapioca starch, which we know is a hybrid. It's not only a hybrid because all of these things are hybrid anyway, but it's poisonous. And the corn, which is gluten-free, which 13 years ago, this is all I used was corn for my son. But corn, 95% of the corn that they produce in the United States is genetically engineered and modified. You do not want to touch any kind of corn products. It's just not good. It's not only that corn is really a bad hybrid, it's so genetically engineered, all of the corn. So you don't use that. So this is a good substitute. The amaranth, the quinoa, the garbanzo, and the sorghum. All right, so please try this. It's really delicious. If it wasn't delicious, I wouldn't tell you that it tastes delicious. It looks delicious and it tastes delicious. I really wouldn't. So good luck. And try this and have fun doing it and experiment. Take care.